Hey everybody, it's me, Amelia Lady B. Welcome back to my channel, Millennial and Menopause. Today I want to talk about menopause and weight gain, more specifically surgical menopause. However, if you are a woman who is not experiencing surgical menopause or is going through menopause naturally, then continue watching because this still applies to you in some aspects. Weight gain is one of the biggest issues that women go through when experiencing menopause. Like I said, I want to talk more specifically about surgical menopause because it's just a tad bit different. The reason why it's different is because with surgical menopause, you go through menopause immediately after having a hysterectomy, especially if you've not more specifically if you've had your ovaries removed. So if you have both ovaries removed, you had a radical hysterectomy, then you will definitely begin to experience menopause immediately after surgery. Some women also experience surgical menopause when having only one ovary left. And this is because due to the I won't say complete, but the immediate diminishing of your hormones, more specifically estrogen. So hormones play a huge role in the body, in the way our bodies function. So when your ovaries are removed, both or one, like I mentioned before, during the hysterectomy, you begin to experience changes. Estrogen is a hormone in women that helps to regulate the body in so many different ways. So it helps to regulate with your menstrual cycle, just how we reproduce. And so as women, it manages how we gain weight, even our sleep patterns, literally how we function. Estrogen plays a role in it. So as estrogen diminishes, as estrogen is depleted from the body, so our body begins to experience some changes. So after a hysterectomy, depending on your body, it takes time, okay, for you to heal, right? So after your hysterectomy, typically about 6 weeks, 5 to 6 weeks, but it all depends on the type of surgery you had. So meaning if you had other things going on during this surgery, if you've had complications, it all depends on your ability to work out. So a lot of times, even though it takes 6 weeks to heal, right? So the doctor may say you're not allowed to continue or resume regular exercise or body movements, even going back to work for a little while. So typically they'll say like you can't lift heavy objects over 5 pounds for another 6 weeks. Is that your body is just not getting the complete amount of exercise that you would normally get. So typically what you're gonna do, you lift weights, you probably do some stomach crunches or some pull-ups, whatever the case may be, but you can't do that after having a hysterectomy immediately. Also, with the depletion of estrogen, our body kind of gets a little sluggish. So you're feeling tired a lot. Sleep patterns change, as you know. Insomnia can result from menopause. And so when you're tired, typically you're not getting enough rest, right? You're tired, you're not getting the rest that you need. And as you know, in order for your body to function and to be able to lose weight, you have to have the proper amount of sleep. Your body needs its rest. Estrogen and getting enough sleep also allows the metabolism to work the way that it should. Work a little bit faster, move like it's supposed to. So when that happens and your body is your body's tired, estrogen is low, then there's a decrease. And so you are going to eat, but your body isn't going to process it as it normally would. So these are some of the reasons why weight gain is just so difficult during menopause. And of course, as you get older anyway, over time as well, when you start trying to get back to working out and moving around, you start noticing your joints and you're having muscle spasms, your joints aren't the same, and women can also lose bone mass. What does that have to do with losing weight? Well, it's because if your body isn't moving or functioning like it should, then you're not likely to move around like you normally would. Also with menopause, what I could see as being a factor, and even what I'm kind of noticing with myself, is that my joints are kind of achy, and so sometimes like my knees will kind of lock or something. And yes, this is me getting older, but also I'm menopausal. So right now my body has changed quicker than what it normally would. So I had my hysterectomy, my radical hysterectomy at 33. I'm gonna say maybe around 35 I did start noticing that my body was changing quite drastically, and with my legs, my joints, and things like that. And so it's the increase, you're going to have to increase your calcium intake. And so also you want to talk to your doctor about ways that you can reduce bone loss and things like that. And so I'm going to get to how to combat and control in just a minute, but I just wanted to make you aware that when the body changes in that aspect, it does, you may not want to exercise then as well, because when you're in pain, you don't want to exercise. So those are some things that, why weight gain can be an issue during menopause. How do we control or combat this weight gain during this time in our lives? So some of you are young. There are a lot of young women who are in menopause, and I mean young. I mean like teenagers on up. And so it's a little different when you're in your 20s, when you're a teenager, when you're in your 30s. And even me, I just turned 40. It's still kind of like, what in the world is happening to me? I'm not that old, right? Typically women start to experience menopause around 45, and that's perimenopause at that. So it's a little bit different. You still have your menstrual cycle. You may start to experience hot flashes. Your menstrual cycle is off and on. You might feel a little lethargic, might start to experience some insomnia, but not quite everything, right? So that's perimenopause. And then once your cycle ends, you're going to go right into menopause, which typically takes about, I want to say, maybe about a year, I think it is, after perimenopause. Not quite sure, but I'll find out. But when you're in perimenopause, you're in that for quite some time, maybe up to a year. And so then you go into menopause once your menstrual cycle stops. And so then you might experience some of the things that I'm talking about on my channel, because with surgical menopause, women go into immediate changes in their body and begin to experience symptoms immediately, which is why a lot of times I target women who are dealing with surgical menopause, and I want to make sure that everybody understands the difference between the two. A woman who is going through menopause naturally, you're not going to experience everything that I'm discussing. You might experience some of the things, and it just won't apply to you. There are some women that I know in my family who have never had hot flashes during menopause. Really anything with the weight gain, and that's about it. Maybe vaginal dryness, but nothing to the extreme like what I'm experiencing. It's a whole nother level, right? So that's why I like to really reiterate what the differences are between menopause and surgical menopause. So by the time, listen, you guys are going to be scholars in menopause and surgical menopause, because you're going to be able to talk about it just because of how I discuss things on this channel. Anyway, we're talking about combating and controlling weight gain. The first thing that women typically do, and doctors actually discuss with you when you're going through menopause naturally and also surgical menopause, they start talking about hormone replacement therapy. I did a video, I believe, back when, about hormone replacement therapy and also bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, but I think I'll do another video. But those are two separate things, but I'm not going to go through it right now. Just know that most women do start hormone replacement therapy, and they will experience It helps to reduce the amount of symptoms that menopause brings about. Some women use hormone replacement therapy and it works for them, and some do not experience any relief. Another thing that I would suggest is, if you have a primary care doctor, and I say primary care, sometimes gynecologist office has these options as well, but whichever doctor has the options for weight management. I have a primary care doctor who has a weight management system, and I actually discussed it with her the last time I went, and so the cycle comes back around, then I'll be able to start with the detoxing process, and then she'll put me on like a strict regimen and see how that works for me. I also want to, talk to another doctor about hormone replacement therapy, and so I just want to check to see my options, to see what is working for me, what will work for me, and kind of what may not be working for me so much. If you have not done so already, you also want to think about changing your eating habits. Yes, so one, not just because as you get older, but because your body is changing. You want to change up your eating habits. So not so much fatty food. So you want to stay away from the fast food restaurants. You want to stay away from the fatty foods, cooking, fried foods, cooking with certain cooking oils. I use avocado oil, which is a really good oil. So you want to pay attention to the oils you use. You also want to watch your sugar intake. That is my biggest problem. I'm not gonna lie, it is a huge problem for me. Sugar intake. So watch the candy, the ice cream, even the amount of sugars that you have in certain products. So any juices that you are purchasing, you want to pay attention to the sugars that are in the juices, and sugars in your seasonings as well. Just watch all of that intake, because it does play a huge role in your weight gain. So how you're going to change up your diet or change up your eating habits would be eating more fruits and veggies. You also may want to start using maybe your air fryer, purchasing an air fryer, start juicing a little bit, having smoothies, fruit smoothies, veggie smoothies, using fiber as well. Fiber helps you to eliminate toxins out of your body, to help you regulate your bowel movements, and so you may want to consider that. What I did forget to mention about changing up your eating habits, you definitely want to try to consider a detox system. So back to what I was talking about, going to your doctor, find out if they have a detox regimen. What are some things, what are some ways that you can detox your body? Once you detox your body, you're flushing your body out of all the waste that's in your body, and you're starting fresh. It's like you're giving your body the jolt it needs to process and get going. So definitely check out a good detox system. Talk to your doctor, talk to a nutritionist, dietitian, whatever the case may be, and see what's out there for you to detox your body and just start fresh. Like I said earlier, weight gain is a headache when it comes to menopause, and especially when you're used to yourself one way and then now your body has completely changed. It happens to women when they have children. It happens to women as you get older in general. And so for some women, it doesn't, they stay small, they stay a certain size, they're good. But for some women like myself, your body has just changed and you're just like, what in the world? Who is this in the mirror? Do not freak out. Do not stress. Trust me, you're going to be able to handle this. Like I said, talk to your doctors. I think that's the most important thing, and not to put pressure on yourself to lose the weight. I think the more stress and pressure you put on yourself, I think it actually causes you to gain more weight, because then you get frustrated, then you start going to your comfort foods. So the best thing to do is to kind of stop, sit back, think about what process you want to take in order to lose this weight. What are some options for you? Between talking to your doctor and talking to a nutritionist or a dietitian, and just figuring out what are some ways that you could go ahead and lose this weight. It's going to take time. Do not rush yourself. It doesn't happen overnight. Some of you are not in your 20s. And even if you are in your 20s and you gain weight, look at your family history, kind of look at your family. A lot of times we don't realize that, our bodies just aren't going to get to a certain point, because that's just not our genetic makeup. So we kind of want to be realistic in the weight goals that we have and learn to love our bodies where we are presently. Treat yourself with respect. Talk to yourself nicely. And just enjoy the process that you're going on. Document the process. I know a lot of people, there are people who are on Instagram who documents their journey. And I think it's motivational. It's motivational to a lot of people. I'm not saying go on Instagram and document it, but for yourself, take photos. Write a journal, keep a journal along the way through this process. Process your emotions, everything that you're feeling, even if it's negative. When you process your emotions, you're able to see where that trigger was. You might even stop yourself from getting that tub of ice cream and eating it. You might then go to yogurt, or you might go to something else that is more healthy, so that you won't fall off of your weight management system. Ladies, trust me, you got this. We are going to get through this together. I hope that this video helped you, and that you are able to take some tools and step away from this video and figure out a plan for yourself. If you like this video, go ahead, like, comment. I want to hear from you. Don't forget to share with your friends, and follow me on Instagram at Millennial and Menopause. Bye.